bloody hole in the first place? How the hell did you dig up the hell when you dug up the road? Second, there's blood in the hole.
I had my first question, but I want to ask you, Sean, because what's your bass of choice?
Oh, what's my bass of choice? Well, I do like my Gibson, but I play the Epiphone that I've got.
Yeah.
It's a really lovely, sort of got a really lovely warm sound that I really like, you know, with the humbucker pickups and stuff, so it sounds really great. But I won't mind a sort of Fender, I must admit, but I like that. It's nice, it's light, it's comfortable to play as well. It's got it's a lovely thing to play.
Okay. Because I know that you were toying with the double bass.
Oh yes, well you've kind of lent me that, haven't you? And I've been having a play on that, yeah.
Was that to incorporate in the music?
No, I wasn't thinking that. You've thought about that sometimes, haven't you, about a sort of acoustic bass? But
well,
I just want
if
to
you could
about
do that swiveling.
Oh yeah, sort of
like kind of lie on the floor with it, you know, that kind of like Buddy Holly.
that sort of
bass
rockabilly
player
sort of
kind
thing. Yeah.
If you could do that, I think it would be worth.
Well, give me a bit more time. But
I think
give
you
it
could
to you
do
back
that.
today.
Visually, I think it will
It would be-
fantastic.
it would- yes,
you
it
on the
would.
double bass, it
Yeah.
suits your
Really?
style.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought it was going to be about, but it was just an interest for yourself.
And I like the sort of sound from the bass I've got as well.
Yeah.
So,
But it's something to think about, I think.
Do you? Well,
Yes,
if you
I
can
do.
stump up
I
the
do.
cash.
Oh, okay.
But it's nice, but it would take a lot of practice to sort of get good on that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
really. No, I like your bass as it is. I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of the kind of the spectacular visual quality of you doing those sorts of things.
Okay, yeah. Well, I wondered maybe I could think about my visual presentation and
Yeah.
do something a bit more exciting.
So how long have you been working together producing the music? And
Yeah, we were doing it before lockdown, weren't we? We put a bit of a pause on it. So
Yes, I think it's mainly been since then, really. I think,
Yeah.
I think the writing of the songs was, for these songs, started around that period.
yeah, that's right.
I mean, a lot of people did a lot of creative activity in lockdown, didn't they, I think,
Yeah.
and it seemed like a good period from that point of view.
But it's only been the last year or so we've had some confidence to try and get out and perform things. Yeah.
how long have you both been living in Birmingham, South Birmingham?
Well, I've been here for about 20 odd years now. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you've been here, well?
Well, I came to university in Birmingham, University of Birmingham, and lived in Moseley at the time, and it's kind of been here more or less since, really. Got a job in Birmingham, the same college that Sean is at, and so since university, really, I suppose. Yeah.
How did you two meet?
Well, we both used to work at the same college.
Yes,
But,
I think we must have met there.
yeah, that's right. Well, I've been encouraged to meet you a few times by other people. Andy taught English, I teach art.
Right.
I'd heard about Andy's art, and we finally did meet up about your art, and
Yes.
yeah, became
We
good friends.
hit it
and,
off.
Hit it off, and
So,
the rest is history.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so the obvious topics would be about art.
Yeah.
When did it turn to music, or was it all kind of the same?
Oh well,
I think-
Andy straight away. I suggested within those early days of becoming friends about doing an exhibition together. But Andy straight away sort of suggested, if we do an exhibition, could we do a piece of music for the exhibition? So I said I played a bit of bass. Yeah.
So we started practicing at the college
to perform a bit of music at a private view.
Yeah.
You practiced at the college.
Yeah,
Oh, we did a couple of
we
times,
did.
didn't we?
They
Yeah,
did have
yeah.
a music department at the time, and there were music rooms and stuff with amps and things, so
Yeah.
you could just go down there,
Yeah.
leave the class behind, and
Yeah.
go and play. couldn't you?
Go back and see if all.
Yeah, see if they were all right at the end of the lesson.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do that,
No,
but. No, we did play
I
at
used to
this
play at your
exhibition,
house, didn't
yes,
we? Yeah.
and then we didn't play for.
No, because that didn't work out very well, that performance. And we have different views about that, but yeah.
It was all right.
So your first performance together with an audience.
Was at this
At that exhibition, it was a private view, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a couple of singing voles, didn't I? At the
You had some singing voles, that's
exhibition.
right, yeah.
I made a model of 2
I've
voles,
forgotten about those,
and
yeah.
they sang at the song by Bread,
Mm,
If a Picture Paints 1,000 Words, that one.
yeah.
And that was really... They
were good, weren't they? The voles were
They
good.
sang
We
nice.
weren't so good,
They were well-trained voles.
People like the voles, but
Yeah.
not us so
But
much.
yeah, not as much. But the songwriting started a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you were, I think, kept pushing to do something more, and I was always a bit reluctant because of time. You know, I do in my studio and do a lot of all this painting and teaching and kids and family, and eventually decided to sort of have a go again, and it's been great. I really got a lot from it. Yeah. And then you
We did an
started-
exhibition, didn't we? Another exhibition. And I'd written some poems which were in a little book.
Oh yes,
kind
yes,
of
that's
thing.
right. Yeah.
And at the exhibition, nobody looked at the
That was
book.
right. Yeah.
And so I
Much
thought,
to your
well, how could
frustration.
I, make them more noticeable?
Right.
Well, if I set them to music and perform them, then inevitably they'll be more in people's faces, as it were, and they'll be out of the book and into some kind of performative medium.
Yeah, but
So
it felt
that's
like
what-
suddenly you were writing these songs, you know.
So,
yeah,
yeah,
but
so
it's
that's what we did.
interesting lyrics, but quite traditional sort of singer-songwriter stuff.
Yes.
That hadn't been what we were doing before, that
No.
was it really.
No.
Yeah.
No, I get you.
That was a bit more experimental, wasn't it?
Yes.
Are you comfortable but talking about the music? So no one looked at the black book, but when you finished the performance, did they come to you and wanted to chat about your?
Well,
And how comfortable were you with that?
Well, I'm okay about people, asking me about the songs or talking to me about them. I mean, we haven't performed them, that
That often,
many
really.
times, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time we did perform, people did talk afterwards a bit about
Yeah,
them.
that's
and,
right. And
you know,
I really noticed the audience leaning in. Really wanted to listen to those words. Maybe really
I
appreciate
mean,
that
that's
side
what
of it myself.
you want, really, isn't
Yeah.
it? You want, I wanted a reaction, and I wanted
Yeah.
people to, address me about them, as it were,
Yeah.
and they didn't with the books, and
So is that what art's about then? Provoking reactions?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded.
what do you think? Yeah,
I
it
don't
is,
know.
isn't it?
Well, I don't sort of see it
Partly.
quite like that. Yes, partly, yeah. But it's about communicating, isn't it? Trying to communicate, trying to find an audience.
Okay.
And I think what Andy's saying about the book didn't find an audience, but the songs have.
Well,
it's just
yeah.
It's your attempt to find an audience, isn't it?
Still on hold now, and holding on. It's raining, temporary traffic lights on red. The baby is crying, my mother is dying. The basement is flooded, and it rains. It rains all weekend. And it rains all weekend, and it rains all weekend, and it rains.
When I was looking through some of your backlog, there is this, I'm going to have to refer to my notes, what name about the power of horror?
Yeah, well, I kind of write songs in sequences, basically, based on some sort of idea that I've had, which is often quite a flimsy one in a way, but in that case,
What's her name? Sorry.
yeah, Julia Kristeva, who
Right.
is a Bulgarian, I think, psychoanalyst and literary theorist, quite well known in literary circles, kind of thing. And she'd written this book about abjection, all those states of kind of falling apart and decomposition and bodily fluids and things like that. So kind of things that you kind of tend to not want to think about very
Right.
much. And I was reading it on holiday, and that it had section titles that I thought would make good song titles. And I thought, well, we'll try to use the book in some ways as a starting point for writing. I tried writing songs with those titles, but that didn't really work. So I kind of took phrases from the book and used them as opening lines. So I feel like vomiting the mother was a line from the book. So I started with that and then kind of just went from there, kind of thing. And so I think the songs on that album or whatever are all starting with lines from her. So that I just used her book to kickstart.
Your lyrics come from all sorts of different sources, don't they? So it seems like you'll make a bunch of songs, you know, where you're doing that.
Yes.
And other songs where you're taking things from
That's right, yeah.
Twitter or something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
there's lots of lyrics.
You know, so I
from
go have a look
Twitter.
at these and sort of say, you know, some of them may seem really personal, and I'll say, oh, this seems like a, you know,
Yeah, well,
personal one, but it's not. You know, it's sort of, oh, yeah.
well,
just
I mean,
from-
you can
Right.
write them such
Yeah.
that they seem personal, as it were, but they're kind of like found sources. The material is, as it were.
So I find that really fascinating.
But I like the idea of the kind of singer-songwriter as a kind of medium for personal expression, but it also isn't totally personal expression.
But I know that I was listening to
That's
an
particularly
intro. It was a guitar intro, and it sounded like Blackbird.
Yeah,
Well, that's
So,
it.
well,
well, we did use that.
That
yeah.
is
And
Yeah, the
an appropriation.
and Dave's given. Yeah, appropriation is a big art strategy.
That's right, yeah.
And a collage of other elements into your work or whatever. So yeah, so we did use Blackbird. I think the appeal for me anyway was to have that as a recognisable opening that people would then think you're going to play Blackbird and then,
Then you
and then
don't.
not do it. There's another one where the first line is "I beg your pardon,"
Oh, yeah.
which is the opening line of that Rose Garden song.
Yeah.
I can't remember who's by now, but so as if you're going to do that one, but then you don't do it. So I quite like that, playing with expectations or something like that.
is it easier to write from a place of discomfort and sorrow? Would you say that's easier to be motivated by negativity arguing the world in your life, or celebrate something positive and uplifting, and which is easier?
I think most of the songs are fairly miserable. To answer the question, I suppose. I mean, there's a lot of scope in song, isn't there, for lament and complaint, etc., all that kind of stuff. I have written a happy song in the kind of persona of a frog.
That's right. Yeah, I like that
yes,
one. Yeah.
which is it's my tribute to McCartney's Frog's Chorus. But I don't feel miserable when I'm writing the songs. It's not me. It's not my kind of feeling of misery that's in the song. It's just misery as a kind of topic to write about, kind of thing. I'm normally amused by what I'm writing. Well, if I'm amused by it, then that's a good sign. That's what I want. It's an interesting puzzle to sort it out, and it's funny. I mean, I like funny lyrics.
I think your lyrics are very
They are
funny.
funny,
Yeah.
There's an album that you have where it's an amalgamation of the EE telephone company plus the is he a poet or an artist?
that's the
Yeah, E. Cummings. Yeah, So I was reading a collection of poems by somebody called Marie Buck, and she had taken various famous poems and kind of got rid of most of the original words and replaced them with language from MySpace, which was an old
remember
social media
MySpace.
site or something. And I thought, oh well, how about E. Cummings and EE Limited? There is that kind of coincidence, and so I incorporated people's complaints about EE into his poems, and all bits of the company's kind of advertising or whatever. And, in a sort of relatively cut-up kind of way.
Was it Dominic Cummings though as well?
Oh well, yeah. Originally, my original idea was are Dominic Cummings and E. Cummings related in some sort of way? Dominic Cummings was big at the time, and so I thought maybe his blog could be re-edited by E. Cummings. What would that be like, kind of thing? So I did a few bits of writing like that, but then got into the E Limited stuff, and that was even kind of funnier. basically. So I kind of stuck with that.
Do you have input in this writing process? Do you have your own?
No, not
Country.
really. No. They're sort of Andy's songs, and I
Do you vet them?
No. Well,
Well,
sort
I
of-
play them to
yeah,
you,
that's
don't
right,
I?
yeah.
And then,
Sort
you
of
know, I
talk about
see
and
what
try
your
to like
reaction
it.
is.
Yeah.
Sean is very encouraging. He's very supportive in the whole writing process and indeed the
Have you
performing.
heard from reality recently? Have you been checking other options? Have you contacted your doctor or the hospital? Have you walked the bottom line? Have you gone beyond a joke? Have you been a loyal customer? Have you been pushed too far? Have you gone beyond belief? Have you crossed the dotted line to the line of pure fiction?
Well, first you talked about it was poetry first. So,
Yeah.
are you comfortable if you had to go a cappella? But without the music, would it sound like spoken word, or would there be melody?
A lot of the stuff that I do is kind of Gesang, isn't it? It's that sort of between speech and
Have you been
singing
invited
kind
to
of
hot
thing.
chocolate with Mrs. R? Have you replied yet? Have you heard about the one good thing about living in Littleport?
I wouldn't like to sing a cappella. I think I'd need some sort of covering for my some support for my voice.
No, auto tuning or something.
Yeah, something. I
don't
kind of
think
like
so.
the idea of it.
Your delivery. Have you had a wonderful?
One of the questions I was going to ask, were you going to introduce harmonies at some stage which will fall on that?
Well, I don't feel very confident about that, but we have been playing with some other musicians lately.
Yeah,
haven't we?
yeah.
And one of ours we've been playing-
Expanding what the
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
playing with
exactly.
another guitarist and a drummer, trying to expand the sound.
Yeah.
And he's more
So
confident,
drums,
isn't he?
percussion. Do you say another guitarist?
Yeah.
Another guitar player.
And he can sing as well. So he has. He did sing harmony on some of the
That's right,
music.
on one of the songs. So.
I mean, obviously that would make things more interesting.
Fiction.
Would it be like lead guitar or acoustic or?
Well, so far I've been playing the acoustic, and he's been on a Strat or whatever, and like doing patterns and things. So, adding textures and all that, and it all sounds jolly good, really.
Have you been able to speak to somebody human? Have you had a browse? Have you had the time of your life? Have you got better or worse?
Are you self-taught, or did you have
No,
formal lessons?
self-taught. Self-taught.
How about yourself? You're very accomplished on the guitar.
You reckon? I'm
Yeah.
always a bit uncertain about that, really, but I have had lessons, yeah. I think I started playing when I was about 14 or so, and I did have lessons to start off with.
Have you ever been busking?
No, I haven't actually, no. Maybe I should try that.
Do you go out and listen to local bands as well as the established artists and stuff?
A bit, It's been great with the
Been
No
to
Covers Club
open
and
mic
open
nights.
mics, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? But it is what it is, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you go together or separately?
Well,
Sometimes go together. don't we?
yeah. But I must admit, I've gone to more established artists more, don't we, really?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I've seen Rob Peters a few times
Rob Peters.
performing.
He produced.
Well, he
What?
recorded it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
big
Well,
difference
I don't
producing
know
and
what a
recording.
producer is, but I don't think he would say that he produced it. I think he says he engineered it or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that.
Mhm.
When you go and see local bands, I mean, in South Birmingham.
Yeah,
What have we got? King's Heath. We've got the Hare and Hounds,
yeah.
Falcon and Castle, and Borsall Heath. There's,
Yeah.
you mentioned Jojo Jim.
Well, I was just on about doing an open mic this week, and we're looking for something on a Thursday, but I could only find Jojo Gyms, so yeah. I've not been there.
No.
But, yeah.
Looking
Yes,
for
I've got-
somewhere to perform or
yeah.
just to
no,
listen.
to perform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
So at the moment, when we have our evenings and you're playing and the people are attentive, the audience is made up of other singer-songwriters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
competitive?
It's a good question. I
I don't think so, not particularly.
I haven't felt that. I'm not I haven't felt that. No. Just want to do your best. Well, I think
And people are generally nice. to
Yeah,
each
people
other,
are
aren't they? It's
supportive, aren't they? I think
it's
that's a
polite
nice aspect of it.
all that kind of stuff, so.
And,
So you're not watching their
Well,
performance
yeah,
and delivery.
well, I
and
think
Yeah.
after you've done yours,
Yeah.
I think up until then you're dead nervous,
Yeah.
aren't you? So that's my feeling about
Yes.
it. You're just waiting for your turn. After that, you can
Yes.
relax and be a bit more critical.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do have a back catalogue. Anything printed onto CD or a data stick that you can give away or sell?
There are CDs of the first bunch of songs, that's right, yeah. Well, one of the things that kind of strikes me about the times we have performed is that I never ever mention that there are CDs and or there's stuff on Bandcamp and
Yeah.
people could listen to it or buy it or whatever. I always forget to...
You forget, it's not that you feel self-conscious then.
No, I don't think. Well, maybe unconsciously, I don't want people to know about it or something. But why am I there in the first place? Then, in that case, but so I think it's just that I forget.
I know.
about
I will
it,
say,
yeah.
have you bought your CDs?
Yeah. Sean will say,
It's got a
bring your
big
CDs along.
box
Then
of
I will
CDs that they're-
forget
they're
to
never there,
mention
are they?
them,
Yeah.
and we
So
go
what-
from there. So I just need to kind of be more aware of.
Yeah, and
these
even if it's
sorts
just
of-
Plugging
and
your
also having a card,
Yeah,
isn't
plugging
it?
things
Having
away.
a card with your Bandcamp
Yes.
link on. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes. Well, you're good at that kind of thing.
I'm
aren't
good
you?
at that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rob Peters, who I said produced your album. You said record, or
Yes.
he may say just engineered.
Yes.
So my understanding of a music producer is that they will enhance your sound and music and will make suggestions in terms of even the music arrangement
Yeah.
as well as the mechanics of the physical sound. So one of my questions was how much trust do you have in your producer, but if at the time he just recorded it and you were happy with that, then
Yeah, well, I guess so. I mean, I'd not done recording before. I'd not recorded before, and it was quite a sort of nerve-wracking experience for me, anyway. And he kind of put up with my being nervous about it all, and we tried to be kind of, tried to kind of ease my anxieties by saying try to enjoy it, and then he I think he knew what he was doing in terms of recording, and he did make suggestions like kind of double tracking vocals and things like that from time to time. So, but he didn't really kind of say, well, I think this song should be arranged in this kind of way, or you need something like this here or whatever. He didn't do that.
if he was that type of producer, would you have allowed it?
Yeah, well, I would be interested in that kind of experience. I mean, I quite like the idea of collaborating on things, and that would be something that I would like to do. Really.
So the potential members for the HR Smoke, would there be collaboration, or will you? But you still be the principal songwriter.
Well, we haven't really talked about that so far. I mean, so far it's just been them learning pre-existing songs,
And
but
developing those.
but I know that Carl, the guitarist, writes his own stuff,
yeah,
and he's got stuff on Bandcamp, and so maybe he would like
So what
to.
shape
we
it
haven't
takes, really.
talked about it yet, but maybe he would like to do.
And he's got more
I don't-
experience of recording himself, hasn't he?
Yes, he can record his own stuff, and
Yeah. But it's a funny thing, collaboration, isn't it? It's got to sort of
Yeah, it's got to
finding
be
the right
with the
people
right
where you
person,
can,
I suppose. Yeah.
gel with. That's the difficult thing about being in a band, isn't it? You know. I feel like we seem to work well together because I don't think you could work with a lot better musicians than me, right? Well, right, but I feel like I get what Andy's doing,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah,
and I feel
that
that's
is true.
what Andy puts up with me, or we work well. Well, but we work well together. I sort
Yeah.
of get it,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I mean. And I think sometimes I don't have to communicate that much. I just
Which is fortunate.
Well, we have a lot of shared interest on
Yeah, we do,
outside
yeah,
of the
yeah.
music as
Yes.
well as so.
Yeah.
That's
So
so I think that's very one of the important things.
Kind
And
of
working
on-
with people who
Yeah,
get
so you
what
need
you're
people
doing
on the
and
same wavelength.
on the same,
Yeah.
and that's hard to find, I think. Yeah.
So, collaboration, rehearsing the music.
Yeah.
When mistakes happen, are you hard on yourself or hard on you, Sean when he
No, I think we-
hasn't learnt the parts? Or
Well,
Well,
I think
you
we're
do shoot
very-
me a look, don't you? When
I give you a look,
Yeah.
don't I say it's E flat, not
Yeah,
D
that's
natural.
Right. That's right.
That's
I feel a
thing
bit
that
like a
I most
school child at times. Not really, but you shoot me a look, don't you?
yeah. I mean, it's not.
That's
you
the
know,
way it
don't
is,
sh-
isn't it?
You know,
Yeah.
it's not like Captain Beefheart or whatever. I
No,
don't
that's
sort of
right. Yeah.
batter you
yet,
about
yeah.
the head or lock you in a
No.
cabin for 6 months till you learn them.
You're obviously thinking about those things.
Yeah, although it's cost me money, obviously.
No, Andy's very patient. I think we work well together.
It's Saturday, I immaculately am dying of subscription services with some larger monthly costs and the music of the world. Let us know means more than no means more than sleep, as more than no means more than sleep or dying. There's more than no means more than sleep or dying. Customers get data-free access to these children building Rayman out of flesh, or who often become one's life and eat of that which is down to be young. That is no means more than no means more than sleep, as more than no means more than sleep or dying, as more than no means more than sleep or dying.
where did the name HR Smoke come from?
Yeah, well, it was the name that I'd used in my art previously as a kind of pseudonym, because Andrew Smith is quite a boring name. It's kind of derived from a kind of technique used by a French writers group called the Oulipo. Do you know them? I think it's Ouvroir de Littérature Potentielle, something like that. That's what it stands for. Workshop for Potential Literature. And they have various kind of like games or techniques or like rules, I suppose, for generating bits of writing. One of which is called M+7. And what you do is you kind of take a text and you replace all the nouns in it, that's the N part of it, with the seventh noun after in the dictionary. And so you end up with something that's kind of relatively surreal and funny, possibly. And so Smith, the seventh noun after, because it is a noun, in the dictionary was smoke, the dictionary I looked at anyway. And H was the seventh letter after A, and R is the eighth letter after J, which is the start of my middle name. It would have been HQ Smoke if I'd stuck to the seventh thing, which didn't sound quite so good. So HQ Smoke. Yeah, but it might be alright. But anyway, so that it was from the M+7 method, which I had used in writing things. So it came from that.
Yeah, so it wasn't drawn out of a hat. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't an angel appearing at the window or whatever.
Yeah.
That kind of.
That's a bit of an explanation. Yeah.
If you had a magic money tree, so money wasn't an object, would you record in it differently?
Yeah, well, in the sense that I would, do take 42 or whatever. I mean, I think, you'd have a lot more time to get it right, as it were, rather than they're all first or second takes, basically. So kind of like, really working on it, and obviously get other musicians and a bit of pedal steel or whatever, and, spend the money that kind of way, I think.
Yeah.
So with the band, the live sound from the recorded sound, like the Led Zeppelin, they never sounded the same twice when they played live.
Right.
There was an element of improv and whatever, but the recorded stuff from the live with added lead guitar, percussion, drums. Not improvise. I don't think you would improvise your music. It's more about the words, I would imagine.
I think these songs are basically about the words, really.
You wouldn't want a carbon copy of what you did in studio live, then?
I mean, not really.
Not really, I guess. But,
I think, basically, the songs are as they are, as it were, and when you perform them, you'd want to kind of pretty much do the song as it's been written.
Yeah.
But I can imagine certain songs there might be scope for, guitar solos that weren't on the original thing, and that might be quite interesting. I mean,
extended endings seem to feature in quite a lot of the songs, I think. We explored that.
But yeah, they aren't really improvisational music, and I do like that. But it's not written that way. So, but maybe at some point we could do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know about Led Zeppelin, but it's a good comparison. But it's all like Dylan now. We're both big fans of Dylan. He'll come on, and it's a very different arrangement each time.
Reworks.
You just don't know what it is until we get a snatch of a lyric, and right, it's that one. And I think that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we're not at that stage yet, are we?
No, but I feel like that's more of a, you think those songs are those songs, but yeah, but the musicians on the stage don't know what's going to be, what is playing or to a few bars in, do they?
Yes, well that would be fun to try with us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I feel that's more very aspect of it coming from, isn't it? The sort of attitude of Bob Dylan, really. Yeah.
The songs you played earlier, you played 3 songs earlier. Tell me a bit about those 3 songs. Are they current, or are they from your back catalogue?
The one called Let Us Know is from maybe 2 years ago or something like that.
Yes, that's right.
That's one of the E. Cummings meets EE Limited ones. So
that's one of the older ones we've been playing.
There's phone references within it and all that kind of stuff. And the other 2 are relatively recent.
Yeah.
And we seem to have got into a sort of like country-ish kind of feel with recent songs, and
I really like those ones.
Yeah, the one about somebody sleeping all day, I was thinking about a William Blake poem, London, and some of the images in that, and sort of trying to do a sort of translation of it in a way. And the other one, which is the sequence of questions, what's it called again? I can't remember what it's called. Have you heard from reality recently?
Yeah.
That is partly derived from my kind of catalogue of things from Twitter, what people say on Twitter, or X as it's now called. And I was also reading a book about literature and sleep, and so at the same time I was kind of thinking, well, some of these kind of lines might be usable in a song, and so I kind of like blended the Twitter stuff with the stuff about pure fiction or whatever, and like things from the book about sleep and fiction, and then kind of just did it as a sequence of questions, and which seemed kind of existential. It seemed like asking somebody to give a kind of like feedback questionnaire on their life or something like, can you sum your life up? Has it got better or worse? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was what the idea was on that one.
Do you play other instruments?
Bit of keyboards.
You've been experimenting with your synthesizer.
Yeah, I've got a couple of synthesizers
yeah.
and I'm trying to, I'm kind of rubbish at kind of learning how to program things. You know, I can't use the TV remote control properly, so
Yeah.
you know, kind of setting up loops and patterns and things is kind of a challenge for me. So, but you know, so if you know anybody who's into, you know, that kind of thing, then you know, that would be good if they
So
could
what's
come along.
the main instrument you write on the guitar then?
Yeah, they all sound like guitar songs to me.
Yeah.
They are guitar songs. So normally I've got a set of words and I put them to music.
I was going to ask about
Yeah.
your ritual of writing. So do you start with your lyrics first?
Yeah, so I kind of write a set of lyrics and then I think about, you know, how to set them to music. Initially, I remember reading an interview with Steve Reich, I'm not sure how you say it, in which he said that he kind of listened to the kind of cadences of spoken voices and derived his kind of tunes or whatever from that. So I kind of like tried speaking the poem over, as it were, and I think here trying to listen for what kind of tune I was kind of just saying, and then what chords would fit with that. So that was the kind of initial method of writing music for it. But sometimes I'm just noodling on the guitar and you can have an interesting chord and you think I must use that chord, and so you've got to find a way of fitting it in.
Okay. And do you have that ready and then present that to Sean, or when do you call Sean in
Oh.
involved?
Well, we meet most weeks. Don't
Yeah, we meet
Uh,
to
yeah.
practice.
And I
the
normally
songs.
turn up and I'm at trouble keeping up with what Andy's with. I think I've got 3 new songs and
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we
so it's a constant thing, isn't it? Yeah.
pretty much I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
We need a rest or something. I think.
So if you are planning to expand the live sound,
Yes.
is that going to be different from the recorded? If you're going to record
Hopefully.
with these artists, would you want to recreate what you record live, or are you happy for that to be a different sound live to what the recorded music is?
the latter, I think, personally, but
What?
we've not got. Well, I think it'd be nice to sort of do something a bit more in the studio type thing with other sounds and stuff. But
Yes.
uh,
Well,
those early days, really.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I think we've got these other guys in to change the sound or expand the sound, and
Yeah.
so things do sound different and possibly more interesting. You know, because it's just me and the guitar and all that. Basically, on.
But I do like what the two of us do, and I sort of like the sound of that. You know, be ashamed to lose that. I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I quite
Yeah.
like a kind of
Yeah.
minimal
Yeah.
thing. You know,
Yeah.
actually. There's a sort of
Yeah.
intimacy about it.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Saturday morning radio called Inheritance Tracks.
Oh well, that one. Yeah, on our radio.
So you heard it?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Do you have one?
Do I have an inheritance track?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's oh gosh, you'll have to edit a big pause out of this one.
No,
have you
worries.
got
Well,
any-
what is inheritance tracks?
Something to pass on to.
You hear a song
Yeah,
that
yeah.
means a lot to you, and it's if you wanted to bequeath it, if you could, and pass on, what would that song be?
Right.
There's a lot, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to
me over the
choose, isn't it,
time,
really?
so-
Yeah, I suppose that...
There is, for example,
Yeah.
my inheritance
Yeah,
track
what's yours?
would be Maggie May by
Oh yeah.
Rod Stewart,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
because it's the only song I knew. My mum knew all the words to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I thought that's so bizarre that she likes that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would want that passed down like an heirloom.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I think for me, it would probably maybe would be something by the Beatles. Grew up with the Beatles. My dad's taught Beatles not, and that's sort of passed down to us. And yeah, that
Like
would be
Penny
something.
Lane, like the bass said.
Yeah, or but there's so many Beatles tracks. So means something, and particular ones like Across the Universe, when that sort of thing. But I think about my dad with them.
Right.
At my funeral, which is a slightly different thing,
Well,
I wanted
a playlist at your funeral.
Yeah, I want one track anyway. "We Shall Overcome" by the Charlie Hayden
Oh, yeah, you
Liberation
said about
Music
this, yeah.
Orchestra.
Yeah.
It's quite a short track, but it's like a fantastic version of that.
I'm going to have to
Hymn,
look
is
that
it a
up.
hymn? Or something?
Yeah.
Or a kind of civil rights song or whatever. So,
Okay.
yeah, that and "Long, Long, Long" by the Beatles, which is
Yeah.
it's a Harrison song.
Mm.
But it's kind of sort of personally relevant as I understand it.
Okay, still on the
I'm
macabre.
sorry to bring that up.
That's
Sorry.
not that I would wish this on you, but if it was to be afflicted, would you rather be deaf or blind?
Oh, that was a bit kind of question.
Oh, well,
As I'm thinking of you as
probably
creatives and
yeah,
musicians
probably
and
deaf.
stuff.
I would have thought. Beethoven was deaf, wasn't he? So didn't harm him too much as far as the writing of material went.
Producing it, okay.
Mm.
But enjoying it though, and receiving it.
Yeah. I think about my painting now with that.
Yeah, I think
uh,
that visual
right.
arts.
yeah, so it would be the deafness, I guess. But but what a question, Manny. That's
It's a bit macabre, I know. I was going to say on the bus, but do you drive?
Yeah.
Wait, if you get an idea, do you pull over to the side and
Note it
record it
down.
into your phone or
No.
write it down or something?
Well, I haven't done that. No, I mean, maybe I kind of have set times that I do write or something like that, and it's
Like
not
a creative writer, like someone who writes novels, what they all
Yeah,
have
I mean, I
a
think
route.
you just kind of sit down for a while and have a go, kind of thing, and so it's not necessarily, while you're wandering around or in the car. Or other people do, don't they? So. But I don't think I do that. So I don't get ideas in the car. I have to stop.
Do you remember that?
I do. My
John
painting,
John
but,
Peel said he was listening to the radio and Teenage Kicks came on the
Oh, yeah.
radio, and he had to pull over.
I've heard lots of people do that. When a track, just got to stop and listen to it. Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Yeah.
You want to write a song where people have to just stop in their
Yeah,
tracks.
cause
and-
a traffic jam.
Like that RBM video. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. They did that, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why you got much plum today. And depending on what kind of network, and depending on her voice, in whose silence lies the ability to gift data. These benefits will likely hit you till 8 p.m. tonight. That is no means more than no means more than sleep. As more than no means more than sleep or dying. As more than no means more than sleep or dying. That is no means more than no means more than sleep. As more than no means more than sleep or dying.
Again, thank you for doing this.
Well,
Right.
thanks for
I,
doing it as well.
Thanks for indulging us.
Yeah.
Gives me some insight into the people behind the music.
I love all that stuff. I read a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. I like sort of music biographies and things
Yes,
like that.
you do, yes.
I read a lot of music magazines. I'm just fascinated by the creative process, really, and where it comes from and what how people put things together. Yeah, for stuff behind the scenes, really. Yeah.
I'm not going to say something like, you've been listening to HR Smoke. I'm hoping there's going to be a roll of credits explaining
okay,
all that.
great, yeah.
But
That's
HR Smoke.
I like
Sean
that
and
one,
Andy,
yeah.
thank you very much.
No,
Thank you,
Thank you. Yeah,
Manny.
it's been great.
Great.
Yeah. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm Sean's daughter. I'm here because I wanted to ask a few questions to Sean and Andy. I wanted to ask, if you had an inspirational song, what would it be?
An inspirational song.
Yes.
Oh.
I like that Lamb Chop song. What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Up with People or something.
But
like
yeah,
that.
that's a great song, isn't it? Lamb Chop.
It's got
Yeah.
a great gospel
Yeah.
choir at the end. Actually,
Yeah,
which is quite inspiring.
That's a fantastic song.
great
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
So that would be mine.
If you had to perform in front of lots of people, like you were a celebrity or something, and you wanted to spread a nice message, what would it be?
Oh gosh.
And,
Well-
and what's the reason for it?
That's a good question.
Well,
isn't it?
obviously, I would talk about world peace and ending wars and inequality, and that everybody should be working towards that. That would be my message.
I would agree with that. I would, but yeah, the things are. That's a nice message. And we're playing a festival, aren't we, Andy?
Yes, we
summer.
are. So
I think you might be playing the same for No Covers Club. For Glastonbury Festival, is it? The one in Redditch. Yeah. Yeah. So that would be our message from the stage.
yeah, that's what we'll be saying.
Yeah.